I'm going back to the last time high school football was in Road to Glory after seeing it's going to be a part of college football 26. And that's going to take me back to my roots on NCAA football 14. We'll be able to compare this to what we're getting in a few months. And there's some parts about high school football that I am really looking forward to. If I'm remembering right, you can play multiple positions at once. You can create the high schools that you face. Of course, you get recruited by colleges, and then you can compete in a playoff to win the state championship. We're going to be doing all that in this video, but we can't do that process without going through any of the creation stuff. There's the Heisman Challenge. It is a mode that has been forgotten, and this is the first thing that I already want to talk about. As you can see on this game, you could import a game face, which I think was just a picture you took of yourself, and then put it into the game, see if it replicates accurately. With our technology now, that'd be amazing in college football 26. But I can't imagine that was anything too accurate back then. There's only going to be a limited amount of players I can choose between, and basically all of them have these shortcuts. None of them have long hair on this game. So even though this is way worse than getting to use my face scan in college football 25, it's the last game that had high school football, so we're going to stick with it. After giving myself a very generous 5'10" in height, we're trying to keep this realistic. I'm going to make myself a halfback for this video, but not just a halfback. We can choose a secondary position, and there are so many ones to choose from. If there's anything EA can note from former Road to Glories, you could play as a defensive tackle, any linebacker, as safeties. You could probably put yourself at tight end if you wanted to, even on the offensive line. And so I'm hoping they're not lazy about that they give us more than 5 positions on college football 26. For our second position, though, we are going to play as a coverage corner. I want to see how I do on this game. Then while selecting my favorite number, number 8, I noticed something in the bottom left corner. It says that you could just import a team builder in for your high school. And that's another thing I'd love to see in college football 26, to have that same level of customization so you choose who your opponents are. Even if you didn't use the team builder website either, you could go through and edit all this information, which I really wanted to showcase. I could choose cities in Kentucky to put myself on, or I could just edit the school name, which is what I'm gonna do. And that's how I've brought my small little high school for the first time ever onto this channel, the Mercer County Titans. I think my graduating class literally had like 120 people in it. These are gonna be the jerseys that we rock. But the equipment screen is not where the customization in this game is gonna stop. Trust me, there's more coming that I'm really excited about. We are ready to create our player. And the first thing that they want us to do is select the 3 colleges that I would like to go to the most. I really think it only makes sense that we shoot for as high as we can go in this video, so we're not going to be selecting Arkansas State as our first choice. We're going to select number 199 overall Alabama as the highest goal of the school I want to receive a scholarship from. But of course, if I can't achieve that in this video, we'll set something a little bit more realistic, my favorite school, Kentucky. And then as a last resort, if I really stink it up, it would be cool to stay in the state of Kentucky going to Western. With all of that out of the way, it is time to start our road to glory here in high school. I'm going to play through the entire high school season. We'll be on the hardest difficulty. And I always overlook this spark score in the past, but we're starting as an 83 after attending a combine. As you can see, we are starting from the very bottom. We are a 1-star recruit. Nobody knows our name. We can get recruited as both a cornerback and a halfback. And as time goes on, it's going to be very interesting to see where we end up actually getting offers from. There will be a progress bar that'll tell us how close we are to getting those scholarships at both positions. And then we can start to get more offers throughout this season, but this is what I really want to show off to you all. We can customize our schedule, and we can actually edit every single opponent we face, which is going to allow us to make them harder and also set their style. For example, we're now going to open up our season against one of my school's biggest rivals, Boyle County, and I'm just going to go through and update this entire schedule to face some better opponents in Kentucky that are realistic. This is exactly what I want to see from EA in college football 26, though. I love this level of customization because it really allows you to get immersed into it, especially if they're going to bring high school back to Road to Glory. After spending over the last hour putting all this together, I would be so upset if I couldn't do something like this in the next game. And it's time I get into my first matchup in high school football against Boyle County. I will say the Rebels are vastly ahead of Mercer County whenever it comes to football. As a public school, they're basically still able to recruit players, which just blows my mind. They've won multiple state championships at their level, but we're looking to pull off the upset today, and I'm on the kick return taking us to the 35. The fatigue bar is already down quite a bit, though. There's nowhere to go. And back on Road to Glory in this game, you were stuck with the play they call. I can't even audible. I just have to hope that we get some good carries going our way. That'll take us for 10. And I think the better I get throughout my career, the more stuff that unlocks. Getting stopped on 4th and 1 wasn't great. They drive down the field and be short on a field goal. But my fatigue dropped so fast, I didn't even get to play on the defensive side of the ball. I honestly think if we're going to have fun with this, we're going to have to turn that off. We had a little bit of a power jet play here. And it was cool to take a direct snap out of Wildcat, but I'm going to call for the ball on 3rd down, and it hits us in the knee. That was rough, but it's time to channel my inner defensive skills where they're already rushing for a 1st down. And I don't like the look of us sending a blitz as they have pulled me down and they were out of bounds. I don't know why I'm celebrating. That was my man that I left open. But it liked 4 forced me to go towards the quarterback, and they miss another field goal. If we are ever going to get recruited and somehow make it to Alabama, though, we're going to have to break off a big run at some point, and our fatigue's just kicking in. They also want us to do a halfback toss to the short side of the field. Can't really do anything about that here, though we could use reaction time to slow stuff down and get nothing. All I have to say is that was a terrible first quarter of football, and I'm hoping we get them off the field on 3rd and 9, as we are going to watch them drop it. We also will have our opportunity at a punt return. I don't think kick returns were in Road to Glory on College Football 25, which is just mind-blowing. We'll see if we can get around anybody. The real problem, though, is we have zero fatigue, and we are using a school that is not good. I should have made this a little less realistic. Maybe on 3rd and 10, though, Steve Murka is about to pull something out that we could really use. I am so bad at this game. I completely forgot how I used to run routes, and I can't even make my first tackle. Forgive me for this extremely slow start. I promise it will get better throughout the season. We knock it loose again. And I have noticed the mountains in the backdrop. We do not have those in Mercer County. We don't. So maybe a little stadium customization, especially with Team Builder, could be nice too. It is really bugging me that we can't call our own plays. We aren't getting the first. But if you think we're about to drive down the field running the ball, you would be mistaken. I think we're just going to have to hope that we don't get targeted right here. I'm catching it, but I think it just hit me. I'm hitting the wrong button because I haven't played this game in a while. Except that was an awful call for the ball. I'm not sure Boyle County's really able to do much against us, though. I'm trying to get my first pick. Instead, I'm about to give up a touchdown. And I might actually never get recruited to a college. I'm so bad. After this performance, I don't see how we improve from being a one-star prospect. But I do have a plan in the second half, now that I have remembered that all you have to do is hit triangle, and then you're able to catch stuff. It could even start right here. We're just going to immediately call for the ball. I'm putting my hands up. And here we go, 2nd and 10. Finally something's completed. We still have 28 seconds in this first half as well. They tried to get in pressure fast, but it did not work. We break a tackle. And Steve Murka better start hiking the ball a little bit quicker. Instead, he's going to take a sack. I am afraid that we have just witnessed the worst half of football of offense. And that's how we're going to go out, except we do catch this final play, but can't go anywhere. What I'm going to have to do differently here is just be a little bit smarter about the way I play defense. I'm right there. And I do not have the stamina of Travis Hunter. I don't know why they keep feeding me the ball. It is what it is, though. By a 3rd and 3, I'm hoping that we can get the first down. We do. And if they weren't putting every single player they had on the field into the box, we might have success. If you think I'm going to win a state championship in this video, you have a lot of faith in me. The play calling is terrible. I have zero control, but we are going to battle and get on 4th and 1. Now, this might be a dumb decision, but I hurried it up because I want to keep this drive alive. And after that hit, I'm surprised I'm even alive out there on the field. Once again, they're trying to beat me deep. And they did. I am no T-top, that's for sure. They're gonna come close to the end zone, but we hold them short. I just don't see how I'm supposed to move the ball. Oh well, it is now 3rd and 15. We're just gonna call for it. Someone else has gotten it. And maybe this is the start of our dream comeback. I'm open. I'm hoping that he sees me. We're able to bring this one in. So you best believe we are gonna stay out there in hurry up mode until they stop us. And I don't think they're going to. We get our first touchdown. It might have been a needed moment in this game, but we're also gonna need to stop them on 3rd and 4. And for as tough of an opponent as we are facing, we're not out of it. I tried to turn fatigue off as well, and it just hasn't worked, which has made this whole game almost unbearable, though we had a lane right there. And I really wish that we would not be running the football. I want to pass it. That was when we had the most success offensively. It is 3rd and 12. This is probably the game right here, but I saw I could get behind that zone. And it is time for Steve Murka to lock in. If he wants to throw an interception, we're in trouble. These are the completions that we need, though. We keep on finding the open space. And it's even popping up a little highlight film for me because I've been able to make catch after catch. It's my most successful trait. Here's where the problem comes in, though. You can't stay in the same play forever, so we have gone back to running. And maybe if I can score my first touchdown, I can get a little bit of interest. My fear, though, is this drive is not going to end with that, which is why I would love if we would just throw the ball. We're going to slow it down to do nothing. And this is the most important play of the game. I'm going to run a halfback angle route. I'm going to call for it immediately, and I'm going to get my way in. That's popping up as a touchdown because we have finally done something right. Here's the issue, though. We're still going to have to hold them on defense. They've decided to run it with 30 seconds left, and they've broken a tackle, but they didn't do anything with it. Now they're throwing the ball, and this is where our corners are going to have to make some plays. I don't understand why they're not using any of their timeouts, but I just got routed up right there. And what we cannot do is let them get into field goal range. They're going to just send up a prayer where we are going to get our hands on it, but no one catches it. This is it, though. I'm making sure to get back as far as I possibly can. This is my chance to get an interception. That that should help us out. And I know that this game did not go well. It was honestly embarrassing, especially the first half. But we made the play of the game. We got the game-winning interception, the game-winning touchdown. And I was able to win player of the game, taking down rivals Boyle County. This is just the start of having high school football in a game. I absolutely love this. And as you can see, we're getting recruited as both a halfback and a cornerback. We're still a one-star recruit, but we gained more points for corner than running back. It has gotten us a little bit more interest than I was expecting, though. Some of these schools, they're not just going to offer us a scholarship out of nowhere, but later on, like if I choose Memphis here, they would do that. I'm actually going to choose Middle Tennessee State because it's close to Nashville. And then these schools are interested in us at cornerback. Miami, Ohio, up in Oxford, that's not too far from Kentucky. You can also see our progress has really kicked in for some of these schools. They're a lot lower prestige, which is why we're getting so close to a scholarship already. But Alabama's going to be a hard one to achieve because we're a one-star recruit and we have to play Trinity, who's like the #1 team in the state. It's going to be our first road matchup, and Trinity is up here in Louisville with me. They're a pretty big school, which is going to make them hard to beat. We do have them on a 3rd and 16. Pretty early on, though, I figured they were going to go over there, and I might try to press this receiver on 3rd and 4. We actually have done a great job clamping him up. We want to test their quarterback, force him to throw in our direction. I will say I am very worried with how much our fatigue's already dropped. We started the game with like none, and I was not able to steal the kickoff. That means fatigue as a running back was not just a problem in college football 25. Whenever we are able to break off our first big run, though, it's going to feel good. And I'm wondering what type of record it's going to take to make it to the playoffs. We're being pretty aggressive early on, going for it on a 4th and 1. And I don't think I had any idea what I was getting into when I made all these matchups super difficult. We had the most success on passing downs, though. On 3rd and 15, I didn't get the target. Instead, it's going to be picked off by Trinity. And I am extremely confused at the moment. Why did I just gain 100 pounds? This is not James Bordeaux. What's happening? There was a flag, but thankfully that is what it took to fix that because we were not going to be able to get a stop with him. And they've just been able to effortlessly drive down the field versus us. I can't force them into an interception. Whenever I played as a two-way player on College Football 25 a couple weeks ago, I eventually figured it out. But you are punished a lot more on this game than you are on there. Offensively, things are still looking extremely rough. We have a run play call on 3rd and 6 and nowhere to go. Just like in the first game, we're probably about to get held scoreless in the first half. But I decided to sim the kick return and I returned it for a touchdown. Don't worry, we didn't get too lucky. They were able to score another play immediately after that. So it has kept this a 10-point game, but I'm calling for the ball. And if I get this opportunity, we're going to be able to cut up for a first down. I really couldn't tell you why we decided to run it after that. There's 40 seconds left in the half. But that's okay as long as we can get ourselves into the end zone, except I'm not calling for that. I got clamped up and Steve Marcus simply did not care at all. That's going to leave us watching our kicker out there on the field, but he puts it within 7. And it's time to keep on trying to earn some scholarship offers for myself. At some point, we're just going to have to make a big run happen. We've been able to try to get to the outside, but we are not getting anything big going for us yet, except right here we get enough. This is genuinely the pathway of a one-star recruit, though we just got one of our biggest runs. And I must be the coach's son or something with the way that we keep on getting the rock. I didn't realize it, but my dad is leading this football team. We can get around him for a bit more. And on 3rd and 2, the blocks are looking good. We've gotten our first big run of this video. Please do not catch me. Please do not catch me. We're at the 1. It was about time that something exciting happened. We have gotten into the end zone. We have put our team in a tie position. But it took them 2 plays to score, and then I found out that we're getting the ball on the 2-yard line. This is just set up for us to fail. A safety. It's given to them. And by the time that we would get the ball back, there's only a minute left in the 3rd quarter. I think we're about to pick up our first loss of the season, but I could be wrong. That's a good throw from Steve Marco. It is Craig Ostrander on the other end of it, and we're trying to get this out. I'm gonna be honest with Steve. He holds onto the ball for a little bit too long. I have no idea if anybody's open. But even if we don't pick up this 3rd and 17, which we still potentially could, we should have had a touchdown. We had our chance to get it back within a possession, but we missed the field goal, so we had to get a stop. This is where I'm going to have to somehow take over. And we're going to need those blocks to line up perfectly the way that they did on that touchdown run. Until that happens, we're probably just going to keep on getting some shorter gains. But here's the thing. I still have some faith that we'll be able to make that happen, and they're going to pull us down. This is where we really make our difference, though. It's whenever we can throw the football. Except that probably should have been the game right there, and I have no idea where this went on 4th and 5. It It is so scary when you're the one calling for it, but you're not the one receiving it. You just have to trust that your teammates are doing something right, and this is how we're going to go to the 3. Now, by this moment, we should probably be pulled out of the game, but we get another touchdown run, and we are out there for a huge 3rd and 10. I'm guarding the corner route, but they had it on the other side. What's happened is we have had to start taking our timeouts. We have to hope that 55 makes the tackle, but he whiffed on their quarterback, and we would get them into a 4th and 10 where they've attempted a long field goal that almost went in. It truly is a miracle that we were even able to get them off of the field, but now we have to be the ones to make a field goal. And let me tell you, that is not a guarantee. Steve Murka is bound to throw for a bad play at some point. I have no way to make sure that we control the clock the right way either. I'd almost rather get into the end zone, because if not, we might miss the field goal or never get them out there in the first place. I think you're starting to see that we are making a difference though. There's 25 seconds left in this game. We're going for our 3rd rushing touchdown, and we get it. This has been a completely different offensive game compared to the last one that we just played. And I can promise you, if we give up anything deep in these final seconds, I'm going to be very frustrated, but they break the tackle, and they're running down the sideline. That could have actually been it for us. That would have been such a heartbreaking way to lose. I can't even get over there, but we get an interception on the final play again. And what a stressful way to take down Trinity. I have to say, I really like the progress we're making, though. And take a look at this. We are now a 2-star running back as a recruit, but we're still a 1-star cornerback. Clearly, Western Kentucky saw our in-state potential, so we got 2 scholarship offers, one from them, one from Middle Tennessee State. And we could even add on another school that's interested in us at running back. Vanderbilt was a 90 overall. That was interesting to see. If we can have another school have us at corner, Middle Tennessee State might as well put them on there too. That way we have them at both positions. We're extremely close to earning a scholarship from Kentucky at the running back spot, but whenever it comes to corner, that's going to be a whole other issue. We also are about to play Lexington Christian, who's currently 2-0. And this one is taking place in Lexington. You never know, there might be a Kentucky football staff member in attendance, but look at how we're starting with 2/3 of our fatigue bar just being depleted at the beginning. It might just be a visual glitch, I don't know. We did have that huge run in the last game, but this could be another hard one for us, as you can see. I just know that most drives are not going to end well when we're running on all 3 down. But I got taken off the field due to being tired, and by the time I was back out there, we had forced a fumble and have it inside the red zone. I turned fatigue back on just to see if that would fix anything, but instead we are still averaging 2 yards per carry until this play. It also seems to greatly limit the amount of times that we were playing cornerback. We had to hurdle our way into the end zone, and they have let us out there for 3rd and 11 where they're going to run that corner route, and I was ready to stop it. The real problem was the other side of the field. I can't help that, though. We have slowed down the reaction time just to see if that helps us at all. It's a cool little feature in this road to glory that is supposed to make a little bit of a difference. We finally ran into a kicker that can hit from distance though, which is not great. We're getting some good blocks, but I think us breaking off a huge run is going to be pretty rare. It's hard to make that happen. To end the first quarter, we ran it on 3rd and 7, which did work out, but this play calling and excessive forcing of the ball into my hands is dumb. I feel like Lexington Christian should have no issue stopping us. They know exactly what is coming. I guess they've already let me run for over 75 yards in this game though, so maybe they can. We just keep on doing it right here. We're going to go for a hurdle, except I didn't get it off. And yes, would have most likely fumbled the ball, but it could have been a really cool highlight. Instead, I am 20 carries deep in the first half with fatigue on, but coach does not seem to care. It is 3rd and goal, and his best idea for a play call was running the football. And I have had no choice but to hurry it up, see if we can pick up the touchdown here, which we can. I will say though, this is high school football, so we're not going to hit every extra point. We give up a touchdown. And I really think that every game on our schedule is going to be this difficult, which is why we need plays like this. Fortunately, I do think Lincoln County next week will be a little bit simpler, but we can't even make a catch. Why would Alabama recruit us at the moment? This is just a display of being bad, and you would never believe what coach has called on 3rd and 10, a halfback draw. I genuinely think he just doesn't want us to succeed. I'm open though, which is going to allow us to pick up the first down and get out of bounds. We had to go for it. We weren't going to hit a field goal from there, but why are we running the football? This is such an awful way to end the first half. We're going to have to make sure that we burn a timeout in time, and I feel like if I didn't watch this kick, we would find a way to miss it. Obviously, I feel like we put ourselves in a decent position with that performance, but we still have 2 quarters to play. And we have myself on one of the tallest receivers that they have, but it's all good because they went to the other side of the field. At some point, I'm also going to find a way to block some of these field goals, though they hit it. And I would love to see a big run at some point, but we're just going to stumble here. That makes it 3rd and 11, where we're just going to go for a deep shot, and it's so off target. And they've been able to work their way back into field goal range as they get the first. It really is not sustainable for us to keep on winning these close games, though we should have been able to hold them. I got faked out, and the pressure is on with 4 minutes left. Why does this have to happen to us? I really have no idea what it's going to take to get into the playoffs, but I can promise you, me passing the ball on 3rd and 8 is not going to work out. Why is that it? I genuinely think some of this play calling is simply just cursed. We're going to have to knock it loose. We don't. And I could be excited because it's 3rd and 10, but I don't trust us to get them off of the field. Okay, maybe there is still hope for Mercer County. They're attempting an extremely long field goal. It's short. And the Titans have it with 2.5 minutes left on the road. How many times are we going to rush for 0 yards, though, before coach realizes? Throw the ball. I feel like he only calls to pass it in 3rd and long situations, which is why I didn't want to get a positive gain right there. And Steve Marker threw it straight at them instead of trying to find an open receiver, which he did again. This is really it for us. They're going to try to run the ball, and they're going to get a few yards. So I feel like we're just going to have to be that guy that makes the play for our team, and it's not happening here. It is 3rd and inches with the game on the line, and we called a cover 4, but we stopped them. So for whatever reason, they're going to attempt the longest field goal they have yet, and it's way off. If they go for that, they probably end the game, but instead, there is a slight chance for our team. And I think this play's still going on. We got 36 yards. It was not on my side of the field. I did not do a good job of getting open, but we are at the 5. And this would be the time for us to kill some clock, but Steve Marker won't do that. What's so weird is I don't even control when he hikes the ball. I just have to trust he gets us in. And it's apparently a halfback toss on 3rd and goal that he just flipped to the short side of the field and we're about to get caught on. I don't know why he'd do that. We literally just lost this game unless he hits us and it hits off of 2 players. Catch it! This is the worst way to lose our first high school game. The play of the game is literally the biggest lowlight of the entire year. And I know the goal is to just get recruited and stuff, but I want to win a state championship too. I mean, we were able to get our first scholarship offer at corner, but it's just a sympathy offer. They feel bad for what we went through. We're going to keep on adding schools that are interested. And it's cool. We'll keep on picking up some options. I did even get the Kentucky scholarship offer, but there's one that I want. It's the Alabama. Without that, we've just failed, but we're about to play 0-3 Lincoln County. They're awful. This is another school that I grew up playing all the time, which is why we're facing them. And on 3rd and 6, we've run the ball and I couldn't get enough. I have zero respect though, and I have lost my patience after that last game. So we're just going to keep it pushing on the ground and see how far we can go. Looking back, I know what went wrong on that final play as well. I didn't hit triangle when I needed to. I panicked and hit the X button to possession catch, and I just missed a lane on 2 plays. We might have deserved 1 loss this season, but that's it. We are going to shoot for 9-1 so we can get into the playoff. And I think we could get in at 7-3 too. I've just never been that bad in high school on here. Being a running back is a real challenge, though we got enough. And you know what I completely forgot about? The double juke. That's what I need to get in more. It was probably the most satisfying juke on any college football game ever. See, look, we're at the 4 now. And this is just reminding me of all the wild stuff that you can do on this game. Okay, that was a loss. I promise though, if we had full fatigue, that would have been a touchdown. Instead, I've given Lincoln County a chance to hold us to a field goal. They do. And that has literally been the entire first quarter where we're holding them to a 3-and-out. It might actually be beneficial for us to take the entire quarter marching down the field again, but we almost had him beat. That would have been a run that Alabama would have loved to see. We're going to get another 15. And for the first time, we have an option run where I was just the decoy so we could pick something up. As little variety as there is on this game as well, it is somehow more variety in play calling than college football 25. And my main takeaway from this video so far is I just want Road to Glory to be good. I get that they're going to bring high school to it in 26, but they have a lot of issues they need to fix still. And for all we know, high school could be some cringy 3 games with a bunch of bad cutscenes. My thought process is you just go in with the lowest expectation possible. That's what I did with this college football 25 game, and I ended up loving it because of it. I had absolutely zero faith in EA, but it was a pleasant surprise. It was still the best sports game this year, even with its many issues. That says a lot about where sports games are at right now and where they've been in recent years. If anything, I'm really just hoping they make some progress on Madden again. That game was awful this year. I am honestly so sick of games trying to feel as realistic as possible. We want it to be fun. Like NCAA Football 14, for example. This game is far from realistic, but it ends up being a blast to play. And I kind of like that arcadey feel with some really good graphics. We are going to get into the end zone, make it 17-0. And for the first time in my high school career, we're going to continue to dominate as we are just showing off at this point. We started the 3rd quarter in a very effective way, but I'm going to give up a touchdown. I don't know what I was doing right there. It wasn't the smartest decision in the world. I have not been great at corner, but it shouldn't really open open the door for them to come back unless they do get this 2-point conversion. That makes it a 2-possession game, but we're just going to continue to try and run the football. And I am already well over 200 yards. How many more can I get? They finally figured out that our offense runs through me. I'm not going to choke on this 3rd and 13. And sure enough, we're just going to continue to work it down the field with some amazing blocks. At this point, Lincoln County might as well just give up. We are going for our 3rd touchdown. And I think this could be what gets us up to a 3-star recruit. We're going to go straight up the hole once again, see where the open space is. And honestly, the longer the game went on for, the worse it got for them. Not only did I rush for 3 touchdowns, but in the final minutes, I had a 63-yard touchdown, which made it up to 4. And it might have taken 45 carries, but that's not important. We had over 300 rushing yards. We're a 3-star halfback recruit. That's really not good enough for me, though. I don't care that Vanderbilt and Miami University are offering me scholarships at the halfback position. I might want to play cornerback in college, which is why we are going to have to get some scholarship offers like we just did from Memphis and Middle Tennessee State there. It's kind of crazy that we can already choose 3 big schools that are interested in tracking us at running back. I think it makes sense to put Ohio State on here. And then at the cornerback position, Vanderbilt's already recruiting us in one area. We'll add them on too. The college choices list is starting to get a little bit longer. We're still not making as much progress as I would like on Alabama, especially at corner, but I have a goal that we're going to try and achieve by the end of the year. And I think if we're somehow able to overcome St. X on the road, that would make a huge difference. St. Xavier is another Louisville school, private like Lexington Christian, who beat us. And I was hoping we'd be throwing the ball on 2nd and 10, but it's going to be another run where we almost got out. I really think it's the running plays that are going to cause us to not win games. There's just such few times that we throw the ball, and we've slowed it down on 3rd and 1, but we couldn't get over there. I think because I'm not great at defense, that is the best time for us to use that feature. He was about to test me. And I know that I could make a punt return happen on this game if we had the stamina. To be fair though, we got 45 carries last week. We should be a bit tired. The worst part is I didn't even need to get 45 carries. It was Lincoln County. I had a Derrick Henry High School stat line performance though. We're going to get the 3rd and 4. And St. X is another one of those games that's just going to be really hard. I still don't think we have thrown a single pass, so I don't know what you want me to do. It is really hard to move the ball without it. We are going to slow it down for this entire 3rd and 7 though, and I still didn't get there. That is the beauty of the reaction time feature. I don't think you're meant to use all of it at once. I mean, on this play, our defense was nowhere near him. And I've already decided we are going to be extremely aggressive on 3rd and inches, but I have to remember that play is always a keeper. Once we read it right, we would be able to stop them. It's a run play. They're going to get enough, and they're getting closer and closer to scoring the first touchdown of this game. We got to make a play there. I know that we caused them to lose 4 yards, but that's simply not good enough when they can pick all of it up plus a touchdown next play. And can somebody tell coach that this is not 1930 anymore? We could probably throw our first pass. I also have to be better about hitting the sprint button. That could have been a much bigger run. Instead, I fumbled it as well. You've got to be kidding. I was clearly on the ground. I don't know how these refs can live with themselves. Not only was my elbow on the ground, but my knee was on the ground before that ball ever came loose in the first place. We should have known that was going to happen, though. It's just rigged. We're playing on the road. They're going to run for so many yards. And if we go down 14-0 before the end of the first half, I don't see how we win this one. He breaks 2 tackles. At least we're going to be finally forced to throw the rock. That is the only plus out of what just happened. We are now trailing, so coach does not have the choice to try and give me 50 carries. But I probably should have made myself open for him underneath because he took a sack. I think if anything has been shown, it is that we cannot compete with the private schools. They would put us down 21-0 in the 3rd quarter, and we can't get it. If we don't score on every drive after this, the game's over. That's why we just went for it on 4th and 1, and we'll stay in hurry up mode if we need to. For example, I normally like the run looks that we can get out of this, so we're going to keep using it. The real problem lies when they get us on these 3rd downs, but we almost broke that free. And I just wish our offense could have played this way in the first half. It's like now that there's no pressure on us, they figure out how to block. I guess they didn't do that right there, but we're still going to have a chance to get a touchdown. And this 4th and inches is bigger than ever. We found the gap and we got our way in. Here we go now. 3rd and 10. We know that this route's probably going to go over towards the sideline. We just need one of our players to make a tackle. He's short. And I really hope that in the 4th quarter, we do more than just try and run the football. We do not need to be in goal line formation on 3rd and 6. Fortunately, we got the first there, and then we scored a 44-yard touchdown when I accidentally simmed. Do I feel bad about that, though? Absolutely not. We needed something that was going in our favor. We stop them on 3rd and 5, and we've at least been able to work ourselves back into this one. The halfback dives on 3rd and 6 are ridiculous, though, and there's been a penalty, too. There is no way there is a booth review for this, but not the fumble. This is high school football. Why is there a booth review? I didn't think it was close either, but apparently they gave us the first first down. We have a really big issue though. At some point, we have to stop running the football, though that was a good broken tackle. Even better, our coach finally got some sense in him. We're going to be able to call for this one and be open deep. But Steve Marca did not see the vision. They've actually gotten it to a 3rd and 10, which is extremely concerning, except we catch it. And I just figured out exactly how we're going to be able to find some open looks throughout this defense. That gets us to the 3. I didn't think it could be done, but we are extremely close to pulling off the comeback. We're just going to have to win the battle up front, except he's in our way. Even worse, this is the play call that ruined the game for us in the last one. This time, I know we're running straight to the end zone. It helps that we got to do it to the long side of the field, and it'll be interesting to see what they do on 3rd down. This is such a huge moment for us. I have decided to lock in. It's a wide receiver screen, by the way. We almost got a pick, and we might actually do it. We might actually pull off a 21-0 comeback. That is going to be unheard of for this series. That's right. I kind of want to turn this into a series. We'll see what ends up happening. Please don't intercept it. I will say, the hardest time about filming content this time in the season is no one cares about football. I'm just ready to get a new game by now. It would be sweet if we had a college basketball game to kind of fill in this gap. We just need somebody to take that leap of faith. If we have another few-yard gain, that'd be nice. And I understand, I have not done much on this drive, but Steve Marca has. He keeps hooking up with Craig Ostrander, 2 legends in this game. I really hope they bring those names over to college football 26. We get the tutty. And we have actually scored 28 straight on St. X. They are not going to get this final play to go in their favor. I want the interception, though. We don't get it. And that might mean that we stay as a 1-star cornerback, but who cares? Just the fact that we have somehow gotten to 4-1 is amazing. And as a running back, we're not a 4-star recruit yet, but we had almost 200 rushing yards. It makes sense why we keep on getting more schools interested in us at running back. I want to keep it regionally around Kentucky. And I've been waiting for the Bearcats to offer us at something. They're interested at corner, though, not halfback. Halfway through our high school season, this is what our progress is looking like at the halfback position. We are close to earning a scholarship from Ohio State and Alabama. But if you look over at corner, Alabama is a long way from wanting us as a part of their team, so we're going to have to step up our game there. And I don't know too much about the Bowling Green Purples, but that is who we are about to face next. They're currently sitting at 1-4. What I do know is we could hold them to a 3-and-out on their first drive, but they take the drag and they get the first. And I am so nervous to try and bait their quarterback into throwing some interceptions, but I need to be making plays on the defensive side of the ball at some point. Every time it's a 3rd down, it is an opportunity for us to do something great on the defensive side, though right here I can't get back to it. So fortunately, he was not able to get a foot in, and right here, we can't get around him. It's all good though. We could still get the first down. We don't. But if they're going to force us to run every play, no matter what, I've kind of just adopted the mentality that we're going to go for it, and I love whenever we get a passing chance. If we just stay in hurry-up mode, this could be what ends up getting us all the way down the field. Or we're going to take a sack, make it 2nd and 18, and then we might pick it all up on the next play. I think I might want to cry though. We are back to running the football. 3rd and 5, halfback draw, not enough. And this is my least favorite run play in this entire game. We're not going to get the 4th down. What we might be in for is another really slow start. You would think that we learned from the last one. And sure enough, we're just going to return to the run whenever we get the ball back, though that cut up the middle was almost perfect. We are so close to breaking off a big run every so often. And then we will go back and lose a yard on the next one. On 3rd and 7, it's just a simple halfback smash, but we got the blocks that we needed. And we have continued to apply pressure, getting all the way down to the 8. This is where we need to make sure that we finish off the drive, though. And it's going to be a very long 4th and 1, but we are going to put our shoulder down, get enough. It is actually ridiculous how few times we end up throwing it. I genuinely think our offense doesn't even get the chance to open up unless we start going down, which is what we don't want to happen. Maybe like half a second of reaction time, though, really helps out for us. On 3rd and 5, both of us bit down, and that is going to lead to them getting a massive gain in the air. But it's okay. A few plays later, they're kicking a field goal. We're all good. I actually don't mind that at all because we end up passing near the end of the halves, which is why we've been able to fly down the field. So this is where we could really take a lead, especially if we're able to get a quick defensive stop too. We've already done most of that, getting them to a 3rd and 10. I figured they were going to run the ball, and they might have trucked one of our players, but one of us will bring them down. So the vision is setting up exactly the way that we need to. I gotta say, for being a corner, it makes sense why we're a 1-star recruit. We can't tackle. All we have to do is just get into field goal range. That would be perfect. We are already a step closer. And I love how Steve Marca has played in like the last 4 quarters of football. I say all of that until he takes a sack that really does not help us at all and then throws it straight at them, which means they're going to get an interception. But I think we're going to be okay because we start the second half with the ball. I also believe it is really hard to lose yards on this game, which is why we went for it there. We might not get much on most of these runs, but we will at least get a couple. And I don't know why why I'm surprised that there's no passing going on right now. We're just going to keep on taking advantage of this. It's gotten us down inside the red zone. We have no reason to stop. We have full control of this game, and the scholarships are just going to keep flowing in at this position. The halfback tosses to the weak side of the field, though, are definitely a little bit of an issue. But we had no problem handling that there, and on 3rd and 22, we should have gotten a pick. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's starting to get extremely frustrating. At least we're going to win this game. And I could have had an easy first down there, but I was trying to go for a big play, so we're going to get it here. I think you can see that even if it's going to be extremely boring how we close this one out, we're going to be able to, and I'm just surprised we haven't been hit with an injury. I'm also shocked that we're throwing it on 4th and 6, but this is high school football. We're not kicking from here. Some teams can, but we're not going to be taking that risk, and it looks like Steve Merker wants to go to other targets. He's free to do that, but now that we're on the half-yard line, I'd like to get credit for the touchdown. That's just going to add to our stats. And you would think that Bowling Green would have figured out how to score a touchdown at some point, but they never did, and in the final 20 seconds, I am trying to pick up one more touchdown, but we're not going to be able to get there. You all are going to see my rushing totals for this game at the end and think that our team has lost its mind. It has. I think this one was our 55th carry, and I think I forgot how broken Road to Glory really was at the running back position. You would get unlimited chances to just score. We've officially taken stat padding to the next level, but can you blame us? We're now a 4-star recruit and a 2-star recruit at corner with 0 stats. So this is where I will say, I hope that in college football 26, high school football is not as easy. We've done nothing at the cornerback position, and we've been able to get a scholarship from Kentucky for it. And I will never want Tennessee to give me an offer. We're going to take Missouri instead. It's kind of crazy that Kentucky would want us at cornerback before Miami University even gives us a scholarship offer as well. Alabama is the only school on the halfback side that has not offered us a scholarship yet. And we are ranked as the 149th best player in the country. That just showed up there. We're about to play 0-6 Anderson County. Look at those good old mountains of Mercer County, Kentucky. They might not exist, but they do in this game, and our kick return is not going anywhere. Plus, I just watched one of their safeties try and come up to stack the box. They keep inching forward on every play. It could be a long game for us, or we could have a chance to break off a run. That animation made no sense. I honestly think that this kid was just lost onto the field because we tried to spin to the inside, and he dove backwards at us. I'm starting to think that this might be our opportunity to have our best performance yet because of how bad they are. But it might take 50 carries to get there, and this cannot be sustainable. No wonder we're not having much success on the defensive side of the ball. We're out there the entire time. And not only are we on the field, we're getting hit on every single play. To open up the game the right way, though, we've got to get 10 more yards, and we came very close. It's almost better to not hit the sprint button, just run behind your blocks. And I feel like if we're going to force an interception, it would be against them. I got to know they're going there. I do find it pretty remarkable how often the computer fails to get a foot down in those situations, though. We're going to use a stiff arm to fight for the first down. And then they finally gave us a play where we would be catching the ball, but it's going to hit the end of the quarter first. We are already 17 carries deep, and coach doesn't care. I think by this point, it is an illness to just keep on wanting to run the football. I can't even blame him, though. We're averaging like 5 yards per carry all year. It works. As we've been getting better, we're basically guaranteed to score on every single drive. And I really like what we've been doing on the defensive side. I knew that they were going to have some sort of running play, but I thought the QB was going to keep it. It is all good. 3rd and 22. I know that they're not going to pick this one up. They literally threw it above our head. And I cannot wait to get back to just running the football, but not outrunning them. At least we did have a pass for like 30 yards on this drive to one of our receivers, but it has still been a ton of running the football, and we're so open. I was really hoping, though, at some point in this season, I would start to get better defensively. I just got flatlined by that running back. And this could be our biggest lead of the half because we still have time to make a difference. I know that we've been in this position before and we have thrown some interceptions, but maybe it'll be different this time. Or we're just going to end up taking things to the half unless we get out of bounds right here. We are on the field for the Hail Mary. I don't think we can get down to the end zone in time, though. It wasn't caught. But it's not going to matter. This one has been over for quite a while now, and I was trying to make a play, getting an interception, but we're too slow to do anything. For every Cooper DeJean, there's about 100 white guys like me. My speed is not going to be impressive. What I do think is impressive is the way that we've allowed Anderson County back into this game. Keep in mind, this is an 0-6 school that we're facing, and they are doing this to us, getting us on a 3rd and 12. So what happened against St. X could be happening in reverse now. We can simply not blow a 21-point lead. That would ruin our season. All confidence would go out the window, and I'm not sure what that would do to the playoff race. With how well we've been performing, we might just start to get more complacent. But not in that situation. We kept running the ball, and we almost stopped them on this 3rd down. At this point in the game, everything is 4-down territory. He is going to try to take the top off of our defense. But so much for being a fast archetype at running back. We just got cooked, and we're about to get a massive run. These final few minutes are extremely extremely important in how we close out. But here's the thing. They've been trying to stop us for 4 quarters and done nothing. Except they just threw an interception straight to him. Steve Murka is costing us this game. The one time that we probably should have just been running the football. Our coach has just decided that we're going to throw it every time, and it's going to cost us this game. He's not open there. Wait, never mind. Okay, we're going back up by 7. I guess now it's on me to get the stop versus them. They're not going to have any time. And they are so unconfident in their offense that they're punting it on 4th and 18, I guess trusting that they're going to force a 3 and out. As long as we keep it on the ground, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want to jinx it again, though. We should not be in this position in the first place. And here we go. It's 3rd and 3. The blocks are there. We're going to get enough. This one's over. Maybe not, though. Computer is super bad about running out the clock on this game. And they're going to snap it on a 4th and 7 that we didn't even need to go for, but it worked. I don't know why they won't just take a quarterback kneel, but it's okay. We get the win. And our stat line looks very similar to what we've done in recent weeks. It's not going to make us a 5-star running back yet, but I have a feeling that's coming. 49 carries this time. And we knew the scholarship offer from Alabama had to be coming soon. I don't think I'm smart enough for Georgia Tech, though. Tennessee's still a no, so we're going to give the Hawkeyes the respect they deserve. And if you compare that to the schools that are interested in us at cornerback, it is extremely embarrassing. We're up to number 114 in the country, though. We have 3 weeks left before we get into the playoffs. But if we lose 2 of our next 3, I'm still not sure if we get in or not. We're going to get the stop on 3rd and 6. And Covington Catholic has faith in their kicker if they're attempting a 51-yarder. That was a joke. I don't know what they were thinking going for that there, but we could get a touchdown on the first play of the game. It worked wonders to stay out there in Wildcat. They are normally really good at football, so I don't know why they're 2 and 5, but we got the start we wanted. And you have to wonder if we're going to get another big run. With blocking like that, maybe not, but it did set up nice for that one play. We're still going to get it through the air. And I think we're just going to stay in 4 verticals until we score the second touchdown of the game or throw an interception. It really could be either one. There's no telling, but we are going to be able to get open in the flat, break one, go down short. And I don't know if our coach has changed up his philosophy or what, but for whatever reason, we are throwing the ball down on the 1. I'm still accidentally hitting the X button to catch the ball sometimes, but we could run it in. Or we could have just messed everything up unless we make it. This is an awful time to hurry it up and go for it, but I'm not known for the best of decisions. And I have a chance to get a safety here, except I can't do it. Here's the thing. We have got to get them tackled in the backfield. We ended up doing that. But the spot of that ball is so crazy, it's not going to matter, and they better not get the first. That was a pretty weird first quarter of football, but assuming we don't run into our own players, we are in control of this game, and this is another big run. I'm averaging almost 10 yards per carry, and this is when coach decides he wants to start throwing it. Maybe he has realized that 50 carries a week is just not sustainable. And I wanted our teammate to get a catch there so we could have a break and then go for a run on the next play. I'm really liking the way things are looking at the moment. They're going to go for a drag and not get a first down. So Covington Catholic is having a disappointing showing, and if we get that over that corner's head, we should move the chains. I have never seen us throw the ball this much, but it's a nice change of pace. To only have 12 carries by this point in the game would still be a lot for most players. But we are experiencing a new offense, and we are going to have to pick up this 3rd and 20 through the air after taking a sack. I'm liking what I'm seeing a lot more. This could mean we go far in the high school playoffs, though that was a terrible throw. And we should be in there, assuming that this result holds. We're going straight back to that side. As good as we've been playing recently, we've still yet to capitalize on a solid ending to the first half. But that was marked as a 4th and inches. And you know what that means. We have our opportunity to capitalize. Just need a couple more blocks here, and we're going to try to swerve inside. If we're able to make it 28-0, for me, that would just end this game. I wouldn't think they'd have a chance. And that's starting to look like a real possibility. Man-to-man coverage again. If you want to stop the running back out of the backfield on this game, it's just not going to be a great look for that at all. We're going to get in on this play. And what do you think the second half is going to consist of? I mean, sure, they have their moments where they prove that they should be a really good team, but then they don't. They let us move the chains time and time again, and all of a sudden, it's 35-0. I was worried whenever I saw them on the schedule, but instead of being worried now, I'm feeling very confident. And yes, you're reading this right. They are on a 3rd and 28 that they're getting nowhere on. I don't know what our defense was doing, but they did something right. We won 42-0, but our only real contribution was on offense. It's the same 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns, but there it is. We are a 5-star prospect. And I think there's going to be a lot of schools that are going going to want us at running back. Probably anybody that we possibly choose between. I think we're just going to go with Washington. It's a beautiful place out there. West Virginia at cornerback. And it's kind of funny how we're the 84th best player in the country, I guess, as an athlete, but all of our recruiting points are at halfback. It's no longer about our progress in getting scholarship offers. If they are on our board at the halfback position, they want us no matter what. Alabama still doesn't want us as a corner, but I can understand. Maybe we will do something differently against Mail this week. They're 7-1. Plus, we're going to have to play this one on the road. Mail is an extremely old school. They have a lot of history, and their running backs get in a pretty large game. But we have already taken down Louisville schools this season, and I bit a little bit too low once again. These are the downsides to only being 5-10, though we had a chance to stop them for a loss. And it's very eye-opening that this is happening to us. It shows that anything could happen in the playoffs. We could be out of there extremely fast. But this rough start is not going to guarantee that we end up losing this game. We have them on a 3rd and 10 where they're out there in 5 wide and they miss. Plus, we're about to start this possession on their side of midfield, but no farther. This is where we could stick with the halfback base play like the entire drive, or we could switch it up. I didn't stay out there in hurry up mode, but that was a mistake. We have gotten the play where I have to throw the ball out of Wildcat. It's quite possibly the worst play that I could end up getting unless we just run around and then go for the first. But I think I hit that gap wrong and they stop us on 4th and 3. These are one of those teams that you really don't want to have to play from behind. That's for sure. Which is why I don't love that they're going for it on 4th and 1 and we should have had them stopped. We might have done it still. It turns out, though, they apparently still got the first down. Their quarterback's going to keep it for this one, too. And it has not been easy to get Caleb Jackson off of the field, though a halfback screen on 3rd and 10 will do the trick. This is going to be like a 47-yard kick. I'm not expecting it to go in, but sure enough, it did, and there's like nowhere for us to run. We're setting ourselves up to have to pull off a really big comeback, especially since they then drive all the way down the field and almost make it 17-0. We really need this goal line hold, and I don't think we're gonna get it. So it became 17-0 extremely fast, and now they're gonna force an interception too. I genuinely could not think of a worst ending to this first half unless we gave up another touchdown. But either way, it's gonna be 20-0 because they have a solid kicker. We've been able to pull off a comeback like this before, but it is definitely not something that's easy to do. And I just can't train my brain to not hit X whenever I'm catching the football. That's a habit that has been formed on College Football 25, and it's not changing, though we had the block that's gonna cause a touchdown. And that has given us the momentum that we needed going into the second half. The only problem is we still have to be able to move the ball, and on 3rd and 5, the halfback screen is gonna work out wonderfully, except they tripped us up. So I'm glad to say that that hasn't really affected us that much as we keep on getting gains. Yes, we got off to an extremely slow start, but it's okay. We are back within 1 possession. And on 3rd and 5, we'll see if they go deep. They fit it in that window and it couldn't be caught. There really is something beautiful about us just figuring things out offensively. And since this passing play is working out so well for us, I see no reason to switch things up. Steve Murka isn't even giving us the targets, but that's okay as long as we keep getting closer. But they did seem to figure out how to stop it a little bit later on, so we're going to cut our way in. Now, high school kickers being high school kickers, we missed extra point, which is why most teams just go for the 2-point conversion. But we do not get that play calling luxury, and they're going to hit us with a halfback screen on 3rd and 10. Eventually, we were bound to get them off of the field, but we're starting this drive on the 3. And instead of having the 1-point lead that we should have, we're tied. Now, I really like the hole that last play created, but it was not there that time, and you won't believe what they have us doing on 3rd and 10. Don't forget, if they get in any bit of field goal range, they're going to be able to hit that kick. But fortunately for us, he was short of the marker, and we're not going to touch this punt. We want to get it on the 20. Will it really make a difference if we don't start mixing in some passes again? I'm not so sure. But that type of loss is exactly what we needed to get a 4 verticals play call, except Steve Murka is selling. Mail would work it down all the way to the 2-yard line as well. They're going to be throwing the ball, and I'm stuck, or else I would have gotten over there. But here's the thing. They're being forced to kick a field goal. As long as Steve Murka doesn't throw it straight to them, there is hope in this final minute. We're able to already get past midfield. What a play. And it is none other than Craig Ostrander. I've been getting caught on the line, but it doesn't matter because he gets open again. Now, I will say, from a customization standpoint, we need to be able to edit our teammates' names. That is one thing they didn't get right on this game, because I'm pretty sure everybody has played with the same few teammates, but I finally got a pick again. That's gonna get us the win. I'm sorry, just glaze me for a little bit. Let's watch this back. It has been a long time since I've been able to force a pick like this, but we got it. And I guess we don't know that it's 100% over till we get one more first, but that right there will do it. We've been able to take down Mail. One thing I am really impressed to see as well is it tracks our stats on both sides of the ball. Player of the game showed up with the interception and all of these rushing stats, which is something you couldn't say the same about if you had debuted a two-way player on College Football 25. I have no idea how they didn't get that right, especially since the Heisman winner was a two-way player. Travis Hunter was literally on the cover. They still managed to mess that up. But we'll just hope that they get that right in this next release. Texas is going to be another team we're going to add to our list. And then at corner, they actually tried to sneak Louisville in here. There was no way I was choosing them. As you can see, we're just going to instantly get a scholarship at the running back position with any school that we want. Whenever it comes to corner, we are still listed as a 2-star, so Alabama's at 57%. And the season is going to be over quicker than I was ever expecting it to. We are about to play our final regular season game against 0-9 Danville. Now, they are a school that's been able to win some high school football championships. But the way it works in Kentucky is it all depends on your school size. We have like 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. I think it even gets up to 6A, and each one of them has their own state championship. Since every state is different for high school football, though, I doubt they'll get that right on the new game. And even for this video, we're going to be competing against 6A schools trying to win a state championship. It's not going to be the end of the world, though. We've already beaten multiple this season. And if we could face a school like the Admirals in the playoffs, that would be amazing, because I know we're not going to lose to Danville. They haven't been able to win a single game all year. We're about to get into the end zone. And this is another city I grew up in. It's like right next to Harrodsburg, Mercer County. They are small little towns, so the fact that I get to put them in a video game feels awesome. But what doesn't feel great is we didn't get a touchdown. We're probably going to get the ball back pretty fast, though. I'm going to make the tackle on third down. And then it accidentally might have come in sim where I'd like a 70-yard touchdown run, but that is what it is. We were probably going to make something like that happen after like 12 run plays anyway. They're completing a pass, but I hit them hard. And I'm really just expecting us to pull away in this one pretty early on, but to do that, we have to be able to get them off the field. So far, they've shown that they can compete with us. I'm stuck on a block. I can't get over to their QB. And we'll see how we respond back. It's going to be a lot of good runs. Already over 140 yards in this game. It just started a little bit ago. We shouldn't have gotten that first. But I guess we are a 5-star recruit. We're going to have some stuff go our way. I don't think we're going to be able to achieve that ranking at corner, though, unless we really start racking up the tackles. And here we go. Massive 4th and 1. We just went back to the exact same thing. No reason to make it too complicated. Man-to-man coverage is not going to work out. And they have driven all the way down the field to get inside our red zone. They're clearly not going to make it into the playoffs, so they're just trying to not end their season winless. They tested me. I couldn't get it. And I can't believe it. That should have been where we got a pick. It's a shame, too, that coach doesn't even believe in us to score points before the end of the half. They have us running. But it's all good. We'll see how we start this third quarter. It's going to be by getting a sack. With a couple of runs, that's going to lead to us having some really good field positioning. And I think this team is ready to get into the high school state playoffs as we are really improving. I feel like both our blocking and our patience has gotten so much better. And that's what you're looking for in Road to Glory. You're looking for those improvements. It would be so nice, though, if I could call some different plays or audible, even flip the side that we run to. That is another downside of high school on Road to Glory in 14. A lot of this stuff is just forgotten because of nostalgia, and if it was in College Football 25, for example, like only having a few play call options was at release, people would complain a lot about it. So that's why I can never take anyone seriously that says this game is so much better than the new one. It had a lot of flaws too, especially since it's older, but it's really just up to your preference. As much joy as this one has brought me, especially when we didn't have a college game, it is now outdated. Especially if EA can just give us a decent high school experience next year. I swear if we end up having to watch like 3 hours of cutscenes and play a few high school games, it's a story, I'm gonna be upset. We don't need to hit like a Madden 17 long shot for it because I want it to be different every player you use. I don't think they do something like that now, but you never know. This might be a touchdown run unless they catch us. Please do not ruin the play. We're trying to simply put Danville away, and that could have done it, though this might as well. Now you have to wonder, will we be able to come up with that interception? And I saw the corner route getting open, but it wasn't my man. We were in man-to-man. But either way, that cannot happen, and they decided to go short to the hitch route this time as he also breaks a tackle. That's a perfect example of why you can't get off of your man to try and guard the corner route. And we can't count them out of this game yet, though we're going to get the sack. We're also going to be stuck on this part of the field for the onside kick, which I think we just recovered. And remember, the game makes it very hard to run out clock at the end. This 2 minutes could feel like ages, especially since it's 4th and long. And I have no idea why this is our formation and our play choice on 4th down, but that's what we went with. We could definitely still blow this game, though right there, I thought we had the pressure we needed. And the tricky part of getting a quarterback to throw at you is you have to play off the receiver enough to where he'll actually take that risk. I like some of the big hits that I'm seeing in this game, though. We have nobody for us to pick off. Our side of the field was empty. We'll see if they try and take anything on 3rd down. But it was just going to be a halfback screen, and they've gotten this one out so quick that all we had to do was wrap up. That's how we're going to finish the regular season 9-1. It's impressive. It's definitely enough to get us into the playoffs. And I've just gotten used to some absurd stat lines and carry amounts. Still 46 carries, but but we are up to becoming a 3-star corner. I guess we're also just going to have to add Arkansas to the list of colleges we could consider. Not like that's going to actually happen, and Purdue is the closest one to Kentucky. I'm pretty sure, though, I can't be a two-way player in college. I have to pick between either halfback or cornerback, which is a little bit of a letdown. I think I would always choose halfback just because it's easier to control. Plus, it's the entire reason we're ranked 35th in the country at the moment, and we're going into round 1 of the playoffs against 9-1 Owensboro. Even with that in mind, though, there's no one at this game. And I know we're a small school and all, but we had games where those stands got packed out. There is no reason that for a playoff game it should be this empty. It was a town event on a Friday night. There was nothing else going on around there. Our first run could lead to a big play, but even though it didn't, we have just consistently kept getting gains until right here. And that's honestly okay. It's going to allow us to throw the ball where we were open, but it went somewhere else, and we are definitely not making it. However, the football gods are on our side because they fumbled their punt return, and we better not squander this opportunity with nothing. I think that's exactly what's about to happen, though. It is 3rd and 15, no blocks, and we don't think our kicker can hit from here, which is why we're going for it on 4th down, but I am wide open. It doesn't really feel right that we are currently up, but I'll take it. Their quarterback's trying to take off. Let's try and hit him. Back in my day, we'd play smear that I can't even say it anymore. That's what he was going to be on that play. And just know, if you ever did that on the trampoline, you had an incredible childhood. But speaking of an incredible childhood, this kid's having it. It might be myself, but he is a stud in this video game world. He's getting like 300 yards a game. Plus, this is the NIL era. I guess we got to consider that whenever we think about where we're committing. Who's going to give us the Lambo? Who's giving us $1 million in cash? Nothing about school tradition matters. Championships can wait. It is time to collect a bag and try and raise the NFL draft stock. We're still bouncing off tackle. This has been such a weird start to this game because I don't feel like we should be up 14-0. But we should be able to make it happen unless they collapse on us, but they didn't. Solid execution right there on 3rd and 3. I see the slant that they wanted to take. They're still going to test me, and I can't get to the ball. But either way, we locked up when we needed to, and we might be able to break off another big run. It's me versus one kid, and he got us. It's like every week, the blocks have just gotten better and better. One player on the outside is going to catch us too. But the last time we got down in this position, we made the touchdown happen. And even if it doesn't here, we're going to be up by 3 possessions. We're just about to lose some yards. That is okay, though. I also have to give EA their credit back then. There's a baseball stadium that you can see behind the football one. Even these generic high school campuses, or campi, I'm not sure which it is. Josh Pate will need to help me with that. They made sure that in this game, they had the baseball stadiums around the football stadiums, that they had the field houses. I just like the detail. We still have a minute and a half left to score more points in this first half as well. We're breaking a tackle. We're about to lose all our stamina. But you know what? We're making Owensboro look like a fool in this first round playoff matchup. Steve Marca, you just ruined what I was saying, buddy. There was no need for him to turn the ball over there, but I predicted a run was probably coming. He trucked me for no reason. He knew he wasn't going to make it to the marker, but he still made sure to take us out first. And please tell me this is making up for the last play. Steve Marca puts us up 24-0. Ever since that moment, absolutely nothing positive has happened for Owensboro. We didn't even play much in the second half. It wasn't worth risking injury. And I will say, there's a chance for the first time that we're not going to win player of the game because of how many touchdowns that Steve Marca threw for, but we still took it home. Whenever it comes to our national perception, though, it didn't change too much, and the offers from schools that want us to be their halfback are just continuing to flow in. It's a little bit different at the cornerback position, though there's some really prestigious schools that are still up there. And we still have a ton of scholarship offers that I wasn't sure we'd be able to get so far. The only ones that we don't on this list are Alabama and Oklahoma. Like I said for halfback, though, anybody that we add onto here, we're just going to have that option. And here's another little immersion breaking thing that was in NCAA Football 14 Road to Glory. 8th best player in the country, by the way, but you're going to see, we play Boyle County in the next round, and it says they're 10-0, but we beat them in our first game. We have drawn a rivalry that's going to be really challenging, especially since we're stuck on the road. But they should not be listed as undefeated. On 3rd down, we're going to have to come back to make this catch. And Steve Marca was still able to get it to us, though they're wrapping us up in the backfield. I think this jet counter play might be the move, though. We've had some huge breakaway runs off of it, and that is not going to change in this game. There's just one player trying to chase us down, but I think we have proven that we are fast enough. The real question is going to be, though, do we have what it takes to hold them defensively? We did there, mainly because they dropped the pass, but you're not going to hear any complaints from me about that, and we almost got free. Whenever you compare us to the last time that we played Boyle County, we have gotten so much better. But that was a really dumb decision to try and outrun them there, and I don't think we're going to get enough. It is now 4th and 5, and we hurried it up to go for this, but Steve Marca takes a sack. So we are immediately on the defensive side of the ball where I get my first sack. Now, they'd make it a 3rd and inches, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of getting that sack, but it adds to my stats at cornerback, and on 3rd and 4, we are going to hold them. If I'm remembering right, though, their kicker should be able to hit something like this. He just struggled whenever they were from super far out, and I liked the run call on 3rd and 3, but it was blown up. That's how that play goes, though. It's either that or it's like a 10-yard gain. The drag is not enough, and there is no reason that we should come out and goal line as often as we do. We have some good receivers, but we don't even make them think that they need to guard anyone. And as the smaller high school in most of these matchups, I don't know why we think we're going to win the battle in the trenches. It is what it is, though. I'm happy with the way that things have gone so far. We're even throwing, and we might just need to stay in hurry up mode because of how much they're throwing the football, except that's going to count as a fumble. The fatigue kicked in. We couldn't hang on to it. They're going to get enough. And every time we get them to a 3rd down, I get so excited that we're about to take them off of the field, but they almost made that catch. Whatever happens in the final minute and a half of this first half, we cannot let Steve Marka throw an interception, but this works out perfectly. We're still going to be standing, though our stamina's done. That was it right there. Touchdown potential. I'm going to have to block for him, and he takes the sack. So Boyle County might have found something that we have a hard time going up against, but they couldn't hold us there. We're going to juke, and there's just 2 players tracking us down. It is all good, though. We got what we wanted. Throws on the run are not an issue for Steve Marka. And if anything, if we keep it up at this rate, we're going to leave Boyle County way too much time to respond. We can't really control the clock from this moment, though. We just have to take the fact that we are having success. And I know we should have had a touchdown there. It's going to be 3rd and goal. I really cannot allow myself to get caught on the line, but I did. We've thrown it away. And this doesn't necessarily feel like the smartest place to hurry it up, but we have, and I caught it short. I don't know why they had us run back to the football, but we are not going to force a safety. And this matchup against the Rebels is going just like the first time that we played them. It's going to be tight. They got the ball to start the second half, and shocker, they have worked it down the field. But I'm honestly okay with that as long as they don't score a touchdown, which they're about to do. We should have just stayed in hurry up mode whenever we had a run play near the end of the first. It would have allowed us to finish off that drive with the touchdown. Instead, we're in this current position. And if I get that open in the middle of the field again and Steve Marka doesn't throw it in my direction, I'm going to be upset with him, but our drive has stayed alive. It is going to take most of the 3rd quarter, though this is an amazing gap. But before we snapped it again, we had a false start, and then they're ready for the Wildcat formation, which means we're just going to lose yards. It is a 2nd and goal from the 16-yard line. We might as well just start to set up for the field goal, except they're giving us the touchdown. And immediately after that, you're going to see they fumbled the kickoff. I don't get to be out there for those kickoff plays. I don't control what happens, but my team sure set us up in the right position, and we get the first. For whatever reason, though, giving me 50 carries a game is cool, except when we get down to the goal line, we pass the ball. And we are very fortunate that worked out for us. On 3rd and 6, they have a slant, and nobody brought him down. This is where things get hard for us. Our man-to-man coverage as a team really isn't all that good, though I'm trying to come back to the ball. We snag it with one hand, and I have baited the computer into a pick again. This was honestly such a clean lurk as well. I love that these highlights actually show the play. They don't get cut off weird like they do sometimes on College Football 25. But I will say, unfortunately, if we don't get this 3rd and 6, that turnover was for nothing, except we do. With them starting to call timeouts, we are in a great position. But we can't count Boyle County out yet just because the clock management could get bad. At least I'm going to feel confident on 3rd and 2 since we are out there in Wildcat. The hole was there. But since there's no 2 clock feature on 3rd and 8 with a minute and a half left, we needed this. As you can see, the next time when we're in that situation, once again, not much time's come off. But we were efficient with those runs, and that is why we're going to get the win. I gotta say, to beat Boyle County twice in a season, it feels good, especially with a playoff one player of the game again. And considering we had a tackle, a sack, and an interception, I was really hoping that we went up to a 4-star corner. I would have to assume that we're about to start getting some big offers at that position. Either way, though, we could go to Oregon as a running back. That would be a ton of fun. Ohio State wants us as a corner now. You can see it's starting to get better. And what this graphic says is 2 down, 2 to go. Mercer County defeats Boyle County 21-10. We're going to face Fort Knox in the semifinals, who is also undefeated. Just like our first round matchup, this is not a school I customized. You can see that with the stadium. If somebody had something like this in Kentucky, that would be pretty crazy. This This is not Texas, and I think even Texas would be pretty impressed with the size of this. Though I know there are some stadiums that are far bigger than that, and there's like no stands in use. If you really recognize this stadium, it's also for one reason, and that's because this was the base foundation for the first Grand Rapids Stadium. We obviously took some stuff off of the side. I say we, it was not me. I did not know what I was doing, but you can see there's a river back there, even though it's dark. And so we have played in this on my channel before. For whatever reason though, the scoreboard has completely disappeared for us. And it was like that for a lot of plays until I went into instant replay and fixed it. Steve Merca, you have me open. There was no one on us at all, but it's okay. It's going to be 3rd and 6. It's been a little bit of a weird start to this game. And we'll see what we pull out on 4th and 7. I shouldn't be calling for the ball there. It doesn't matter. In the clutch, Steve Merca was not about to make a bad read. And so far, Fort Knox has been a pretty run-heavy team, though I bit down too low. All I'm saying is if that was not a screenplay, we were going to get beat deep. I love these halfback dives. They have carried us down the entire field, and we just keep on going. We're about to take a 14-0 lead, or even a 10-0 lead if we're going to lose 4 yards on a run. But I'm not sure if we're even going to attempt to try and score a field goal from here. After the catch, we probably should, but I hurried it up because I thought that we could pick this up. And at some point, I need to learn the lesson that we don't always have to be aggressive. That sack on 1st down definitely helped us so far, but we are still going to have to get them off the field on 3rd and 9. And they might just hold us to a 3 and out anyway. I cannot believe that we messed up that last drive. There is no excuses for that. We are going to keep on staying out there in 4 verticals. And I'm just going to trust that Steve Merca is going to complete some more passes like he did earlier on, which he does. It's actually going to be a touchdown. I really don't care if Fort Knox is undefeated. We are the better team. They can't even make a catch. They must have made it this far by playing in a weaker region, and a low halfback angle route gets us the first. If we just go back to how I was feeling in that first game against Boyle County, I did not think we would even get to this point. But what did I say? We'd figure it out, and we have come a very long way. We still need to get a tutty. I'm acting like we've already made it to the championship. That's what it feels like. But who knows? He could throw a pick 6. You never know how this drive is going to end. We're getting the first. Steve Merca, you just cannot sell on me now. They have a lot of guys in zones that we can't get past. And since we've passed up on points before, we're going to be smart. The odds are, with how much the first half went in our favor, the second half should be the same way, and this proves it. We're going to get those breakaway runs. Even here, it could happen because it's the best formation. It's Wildcat. They don't make the tackle. One more to beat, and they do. You know, I think coach has just decided he doesn't care that much, though. He's going to let us run it back. And I guess they realized that they had the key to stop it. This ball is in the air. From there, we would shank the field goal, so I guess that shows why we don't normally kick. And then Fort Knox would end up inside our red zone, but at least we had a hard hit. It is now 3rd and 5, where they did not get open with the slant, except he came back to it and we had our hands on it. So they just settled for 3, and they're looking for a stop. I think they're going to start the 4th quarter with it as well. This one's not over. It felt like it was wraps, but it turns out that it was not. We're going to hold them on 3rd and 13. And I just don't understand why they wouldn't go for it in that situation. I mean, I guess it worked out for them. They would stop us, and then they'd score a touchdown, which is going to get this game back within 7 points. But at one point, they were on a 4th and 3, and they decided to punt. That was certainly a risky throw too. I'm just glad that it worked out. And their timeouts are starting to get used. They're still going to be able to get the ball back most likely though. And the reason for that is to get through the rest of this clock. We would need a few more first downs, but they were cheating. They brought literally everybody into the box there, and I've just gotten beat off of the line. I don't know why I was sitting so low, like they were about to hand that ball off thinking we were going to get a safety. But that is what I did, and they are going to have somebody open in the flat with like nowhere to go. After spiking the ball with that catch, it's going to be 3rd and 11, and I have to guard both of those players plus miss a tackle. I think this is the funniest part of the entire thing though. They missed the extra point. There is no reason I should be bailed out of this situation. In fact, I would not have been surprised if they got to recover that onside kick. But somehow things are going to work out for us. Except there is one issue. They did end up getting the ball back, and we are going for the pick. The only reason that even happened in the first place is because the computer is dumb. I don't know why they operate the way that they do. But they made us punt it back with like 10 seconds remaining, and we are very fortunate. With no touchdowns in this game, it is the first time I think that we have not won player of the game. But that's not going to stop schools like Oregon from going after us. I mean, we have proven that we are at the top of college football. Notre Dame would also be sick. And then at the cornerback position, why not? Let's see if we could play for Bill Belichick. You're not not going to believe who we have drawn in the state championship, though. It is Lexington Christian, the one school that took us down. This is it. It takes place in Cardinal Stadium. It would definitely be better if it was Kroger Field, but either way, we made it to this point. That's all that we can ask for in the first place, though for whatever reason, on one side of our jerseys, they are black. There's another NCAA Football 14 bug. That is going to trip me out for this entire game. If it means we can win a state championship, though, we're just going to have to ignore it. That's a fight. It gets us the first down that we wanted. I saw safeties inching up here to stop the Wildcat. And you know what that means? That means that we might be able to gash everybody down the field for a touchdown besides that one kid. Either way, though, we're making progress against LCA. That's all I want. And I swear, every time our quarterback turns around to hand off the ball, I get so confused, but it's okay. We might miss a hole or two because of the glitch, but that will not cost us the game. What'll cost us the game is not finishing off drives, which we might do. I've been determined to stay in this one play for a little bit now, and it has certainly paid off. On 3rd and 1, they flipped the play to the other side of the field. They were going to run it in my direction. I guess that just shows, though, that we are making at least somewhat of an impact, and this is not my area to guard. I hate seeing players get so open on the other side of the field, but this goes back to the computer just not getting their feet down on catches. And what that means is we have gotten the ball back. We are going to need to pick up this 3rd and 3, though, which we do. I outran one of our blockers. And that's really the difference between an 8-yard gain and a 50-yard gain. I am okay with some of these drives, like taking forever off of the clock, though, because I want us to score, while making sure that they have very limited chances to do the same thing. We've been blessed again, too, with the play of the season. We got the block that we needed from our left tackle, and he is running down the field, but he didn't help us with that defensive back. I guess we didn't really need it. On 3rd and 20, they have no choice but to try and take the top off of our defense. And believe it or not, that was another play where they did the right thing, but it turns out they didn't get their feet down, and having guys in black jerseys run at us is confusing. How many more times can I say it's confusing? I don't know, but it looks like we're going to get a 53-yard rushing touchdown, which means that if we just continue to sim a little bit, we might be able to close this one out sooner than I was thinking. So maybe I won't be tripped out seeing all of the jersey mismatches, though they get the 3rd and 5, and they're going to miss tackles, which means they're getting their first touchdown. I don't know why we just let them do that to us. I mean, there was no reason for it. We literally just stared at them as they made it happen, and Steve Murka got that throw out to us where we broke a tackle. I know he's made some bad reads, but he is playing hero ball for us. Another perfectly placed pass. And we are threatening to score 28 points in the first half. I know we've had some good performances. I think this is our best. Our offense has just been so dominant. On 3rd and 10, once again, we have no help on that side of the field, and they're getting their way. That was the worst ending to the first half possible, especially if they stop us here. But we are going into the 3rd quarter with like 250 rushing yards. They might have thought they'd be able to figure out how to stop us, but you really can't stop a freight train unless we fumble. It's just such a bad mistake to have. And it's almost like we are trying to let them back into this game. Whatever happened there, though, works out for us. Maybe this time we won't fumble the ball. If we're able to just get like one more first down, I mean, that should do it. We're in field goal range. We are set up to take a 3-possession lead against them. And I think Lexington Christian's in a lot of trouble. They certainly put up a good fight for how they went down at the very beginning. But then they just stopped fighting. You are on a 4th and 3, down by 21 with less than 5 minutes left in a state championship punting. Stuff like that is why they lost this game. And I think we had our best stat line that we have had in any game so far. We had 36 carries for 313 yards, 5 tutties. It really is the touchdowns that count the most. 5 tackles is solid as well, but we're finishing as a 3-star corner. We literally achieved everything at the running back position, but we never quite made that type of progress at corner. We can add a couple more schools to our final list. Let's put Boise State on there just for fun. Put Michigan State too. And I think what I'm going to have to realize is we can play anywhere as a corner besides Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Alabama because we only made about 90% progress without getting that scholarship. You know what, though? We weren't the best at corner. We want to be a halfback in college anyway, so that's why we're going to be able to choose from all of these incredible schools. And so that is the final part of this high school process of us getting to play through what that whole thing is like. We are going to go to signing day and see who we pick. I still wish you could commit as a two-way player, but that just can't be the case. It does show up where you're going to be on the depth chart, just like in college football 25 with a little bit less detail. You got the playbook on here. I mean, there's not that much. But since you couldn't transfer back on NCAA Football 14 unless you created a whole other character, which is a whole other thing I had to do for a series, we're going to have to pick one school and stick with it, and that's why we are going to choose Oregon, and then we also get to choose our jersey number. It kind of stinks that they didn't have number 8, but you can see our Spark Combine rating went up so much. I think it was like at 80 to start the year. That's really going to be it, though. We have made it to college. That was the goal. We were able to play on both sides of the ball, win a state championship, create what we wanted. I still think this system versus what's in college football 25 isn't any better. And that goes for player progression too. I'm just not a huge fan of NCAA Football 14's Road to Glory. I thought it was pretty bare bones as well. So I don't think I'm going to play my college career, but maybe I'll get around to it if enough of you all want to see it. It's not like there's anything else going on in the off season right now anyway.